The pavement shook before anyone could hear it. Matrix rotors. Then the heavens opened up on Seattle General. Open as 4 Black Hawk helicopters, they often fall into battle formations. It is intended for war zones, not civilian areas. Parking spaces. The dust swirled and blinded the terrified one. The hospital security team went there. Block the landing. They don't have it. Opportunity. 12 Marines in full tactical gear. The weapons fell to the ground with weapons. Ready, ignore the screaming head. Their surgeon. Their captain didn't ask. Director. He didn't ask. The doctor went straight to him. The terrifying entrance and screams that lead to the emergency room name the person who allowed the entire staff to freeze. I need Angel 6. Where is Angel 6? Emergency room linoleum floor. It was at Seattle General Hospital. A clear, clean shade of gray, color. Clara Holloway knows this firsthand. She knows this because she spends most of her time 12-hour tour looking at his head. He tries to make himself as small as possible. It may be. For a high motivational traumatic injury surgeons and residents with new faces, Clara was just a slow nurse. She was a 40-year-old woman. She was unable to do so because she had a serious injury to her left leg. She was running when a code blue was called. The one who locked himself after changing the bed, updating and maintaining graphics. The drunkards who entered without anger Friday nights. They didn't know why. Weak, and to be honest, none of them care. Please, Holloway, move. He's blocking the passage. Dr. Adrian Prescott sighed and walked past him. Prescott was the star of the hospital. Surgeon. Wonderful, charming and absolutely unbearable. Jaws that cut glass and ego. It needed its own postal code. Clara. He stumbled a little and grabbed the edge. To stabilize their station. Her left leg, held together. 3 titanium needles and a combination of needles. A familiar tissue, whipped by a deaf person. Pain. Sorry, doctor, she said, her voice grumbling. He shouted. Don't be sorry. Hurry up. Prescott threw his shoulder back. Without taking action. A car breakdown happens within 10 minutes. If you can't keep up, go to work. A geriatrician, or better yet, the next day. They don't move that fast. Some of the young nurses laughed nervously. They loved Prescott. They loved Clara. It was just furniture. Small broken furniture. The administration failed. Still to be replaced. Clara fixed it. He cleaned it up and went back to organizing. Gary didn't let the insult affect her. She was upset with the men. Scarier than Adrian Prescott. They were shouted at by the ship's officers. Heavy rains on the island of Paris and cursed by the people affected by the area commanders in the dust of Kandahar. Prescott's tweet was arrogant. Cricket compared to a scream a mortar shell. But she kept it. There she was, alone, Clara, not a lieutenant commander, not a flight nurse Holloway, and of course not. The exclamation mark hidden inside her personnel file from 7 years ago. Hello, Clara. Sarah, a friendly but very anxious third-year student. The nurse whispered as she ran past. He's carrying a truck full of 4 bags. Ignore him. It is now highlighted. The council says, the VIP will bring the victims of the accident. Senator-type things. "DS Sarah," Clara said softly, eyes scanning the chaos of the emergency room and unobserved accuracy. While others see the noise and panic, Clara saw the models. She saw that bed. The 4 were in shock before. Even the monitors blared. She saw that. The intern in the 7th grade was busy with his work. Intubation, but she remained silent. I learned it the hard way there. The civilian world, there was no lame nurse. An investigation is required. She had to go with blankets. The automatic doors opened at. He was furious with the whistle, and the paramedics came in. A toddler pushes a backpack he is carrying. Cover with blood. Male 17 uncontrolled driver open assault chest injury, paramedic he shouted. Prescott was there immediately. He screams. Make one of them come out. I need a chest x-ray and a full panel. Regional road. Away from the road. We need it. Workplace, Clara, the pensioner near the wall, with his hands clasped tightly behind her. She was looking at Prescott. His work was good, he had to admit. His hands were steady, but he was arrogant. He treated the patient, but man, and he escaped from something. Clara, from her perspective, was able to she saw the boy's neck veins bulging. He watched as his chest rose unevenly. The monitor showed blood pressure. He was falling, but his heart rate didn't slow down. To raise when necessary hypovolemic dance. Heart temperance. Clara's thoughts were whispered or focused. Right-sided pneumothorax. There are no breathing sounds. She took a half step forward. Doctor, she said in a low voice, but strong. Check for correct lung sounds. Trachea changes slightly. His face turned red. Adrenaline and anger. Sorry. Did I do it? Ask for a peanut consultation. Gallery. I'm a participant here, Holloway. I know what a long list of words is. It seems, and it's not. Go and take me. 2 -0 units and a stop. Clara pursed her lips. She looked. The apprentice, a young man named Davis, they looked at him with pity. They all thought. She tried to play the role of a doctor. She turned and headed for the blood. On the bench, holding his fist tightly at his side. The phantom pain in her leg exploded. Memories of the night she spent. He deserves that paralysis. The night he was crucified. In an overturned trunk, keeping a Marine sergeant alive with one when you use your hand to focus on someone else. Her broken leg. Blood bags, mark the labels on 3. Stop a habit that will never die. Return to a state of horror, a state of chaos. It got worse. The boy was taking a shower. Davis's blood pressure is 60/40. We are turn it off. Push the EPI arm. Prescott. He shouted. Where is that blood? Holloway, move your butt. Clara said to herself. Blood, smeared on her eyes. He looked at the patient's chest again. It was worse. The difference was now clear. If Prescott I didn't separate that chest from the other one. The child will die within 60 seconds. It needs a needle insert, Clara spoke out loud this time. Now the second right intercostal space. The room fell silent enough to sit in the microwave. Prescott put his stethoscope on it. The tray was making noise. He approached it. Clara, who invades her personal space, for her magic. Come out, he whispered. Come out of my terrible womb. You are the one. I'm fired from work. Leave before I finish. Security is taking you out. Clara looked. They looked at him. For a few seconds, the Sloane nurse disappeared and something happened. Strong and dangerous as iron, it shines within. Tin. But she closed her eyes and disappeared. Yes, doctor, she said. She turned around. The uneven creak of the door left him alone. It echoes under the sound of alarm bells. She went to the break room, a heart that beats not with fear, but with fear frustration. She knows that the child will code, and she knew Prescott wouldn't catch her. Until it was too late. She was right. I poured myself a cup of stale coffee. When the earth shook. It wasn't earthquake. That was a tremor. The cups rattled on the shelf. Deep the strong blow she felt inside. He looked at his feet before listening with his ears. Clara froze. She recognized that voice. Every cell in her body knew that sound. It was the voice of salvation and the sound of destruction. The rotors are driving hard. She went to looking out the living room window parking lot. Her eyes opened. Fly low, close to the south. And soon 4 skyscrapers rose from the city, black shapes. Not red and white. Medical helicopters. These were black and olive fruit. Military. The hospital's hospital-based treatment system came to life. The receptionist's voice trembled. We have security at the main entrance. Unauthorized landing of an aircraft parking. Unauthorized frequency. Hospital. In the emergency room, panic moved. From the child dying near the windows. Patients and nurses gathered together. Glass. Is this a terrorist attack? Someone shouted. No way. Dr. Prescott, he shouted, trying to control himself. The floor. Maybe only one hole remains. Wrong. Ignore it. Focus on patients. But it was impossible to ignore. The noise was now deafening. The first helicopter, without UH-60 Blackhawk other signs besides the serial number Gray Sol number, powerfully improved a row of parked cars. The rotors have a compact washer. When a car slides sideways. Clara watched from her lounge. She forgot the coffee. She shook his hand. With the mirror. What are you doing? Here, she thought. This is not right. They're called LZ. They come in very hot. She saw the pilot's helicopter crash to the ground. With his wheels, he kisses him with difficulty. Asphalt before the side doors quickly opened. They didn't wait until the rotors cooled down. The people left. Clara counted them. Immediately. 12 complete set of plate carriers. Holsters for M4 carbines, fast helmets. There was no National Guard in the commission. Transportation. It was a quick response. Power. She closed her eyes tightly. Their shoulders were tied with dark Velcro. It's gray on black, but she has it. The unit's badge, a swastika passing through a sphere. Exploring power. Oh Earth, Clara whispered. The second and third helicopters landed. A narrow area, which ambulance station. The fourth ship sailed. Overture leaning against the open door. Doors to the emergency room was opened, but it was not opened. Patients who came. Hospital security guard, elderly man. A man named Frank was running behind him. Raise your hand. Frank, I couldn't stop. They have guns, he shouted. Double doors opened behind him. One of them broke when he opened it too forcefully. The hinges. 3 sailors entered first, clearing the room with their weapons. They did not target civilians, but their discipline was terrible. It moves like water flowing around carts. And they light up the room with them presence. Everyone stands in the right place. It's you, the naval commander shouted. The sound has gotten worse with the method. The throat microphone is buzzing at a low volume. Speaker on the jacket. Visible hands, no sudden movement. Dr. Prescott. He left the terrible room, his gloves covered in blood from teenagers. Arrogance, often armed, it's a burden now. Who do you think you are? Is that him? Prescott asked as he got closer. The armed men said, "This is a hospital. I can't come here with a gun. There's a dying patient there. Chief." Even the Marines didn't look down on him. He was a giant. A person's height, simply 1.88 meters, has a sign that goes down below it. In the corner. He walked silently forward and Prescott pushed him back. With one hand. There was no strong pressure, just not accepting obstacles. Prescott fell 5 feet back, breathing heavily. Captain Silas Thorne, United States Marine Corps. The giant man shouted. This is not for your patient, doctor. I am. Here is your soldier. Your soldier. Prescott spat, his face contorted. We don't have an army. Believe me today. You are wrong. Hospital. Captain Thor ignored him. He held out his hand. And he turned on the radio. Command, we have it. Holly is confirmed. Search for properties. He took out a folded piece of paper. We robbed us of his tactical jacket. He looked around the room, his eyes scanning the terrified faces, nurses and doctors. One former military power, Thorne, he announced, his voice, we have information that it is her. We need to work on this structure. Immediately. This is a matter of national importance. Security. The room fell silent. Who? Prescott asked, his voice trembling. Little. Who are you looking for? Thorne looked at the newspaper in class. Her name is Clara Holloway, but in her heart she was known as an angel. Six breath filled the room. Returned slowly, painfully, on the eyes behind the nursing station, to the door to the break room. Dr. Prescott looked. Confused. Holloway. The innocent nurse let out a breathless rage. Amazing laugh. You're kidding. You 4 helicopters landed for the woman. The one who waters the bathtub. The eyes of Thorne. Narrow. He took a step towards Prescott. And the air in the room seemed to be falling. 10-degree citizen, think about your voice. It is you. Talking about the Navy receiver, the cross. What followed was silence. Absolutely. Clara stood at the door. Rest room. She heard everything. His heart was beating hard against his ribs. He is caught like a bird in a trap. She did not listen. That exclamation mark over the years. Angel 6. She put on his clothes. She took a deep breath. She didn't want to do that either. She has been hiding for 7 years. But she knew the captain's expression. Thorne's face. She knew that look. They were not here to hold a new meeting. Someone was in trouble. A big problem. Clara pushed the door open. The sound of the assembly is like photos taken in a quiet room. I am here, she said. Her voice wasn't loud, but he was arrested. Every head turned. Doctor or Prescott looked at his mouth and looked at his mouth. Stay open. Young apprentice Davis. Some Marines looked at Clara and come back. Captain Thorne turned. When he saw her, the cruel wrinkles on his face are gone. It's only a fraction of a second. Gray in her hair, faint lines around her. He looked into her eyes, she knelt down and looked at them. On her left leg. But he didn't see. It attracted attention. For a pair of hammered hollow boots, the danger that threatened the triage nurse. He raised his hand sharply. Hello. Madam, said Thorne in a respectful voice. Captain Thorne, 1st Scout, we need you. Your help. We are in a terrible situation. Geography and flight, the surgeon has fallen. We have suffered serious injuries. 30 miles of event involving a secret room to the north. They are trapped in the gorge. We can't go to the hospital for treatment, but we can find it. A bird to fly. He lowered his hand. I need a flight nurse who is ready for battle. Certified for high-angle rescue. I looked at the database. It's just you. One in the Tri-State Area Review. Clara looked at it. Captain, I haven't flown for 7 years. My feet. Mom, I don't need your legs, Thorne said. Powerful. We need your hands, and I need your mind. There are 7 sailors. It now grows on the mountain. One of them is the general's son. I especially wanted you. I wanted you. Me. Clara whispered. No, Thorne. It has adjusted itself. Fixed unit. They didn't ask the nurse. They said on the radio that they wouldn't let anyone in. Touch them except for Angel 6. They said, it is you. They served in Fallujah, keeping their word. Clara's breathing stopped. Fallujah. Is that it? His voice began to tremble. Is this Commander Ricks? Thorne shook his head. He is gloomy. He is, and he is critical. Clara didn't believe her anymore. The nurse who is slowly waking up is waking up. The woman who apologized for her existence, it was gone. In its place stood an Angel 6. She looked at Thorne. My weapon is with me. Apartment. We have a complete disaster kit. The bird, said Thorne. We'll be leaving in 2 hours. Minutes. Clara nodded. She walks forward, her turban visible, but her deliberate movement. Holloway, Prescott shouted, holding his hand. Vote. You can't leave. You are. Change. When you walk out those doors, he was fired. Can you hear me? He was fired. Clara stopped. She slowly walked towards Dr. Prescott, turned her face. She looked at the man. He was despised for 2 years, the person who mocked her pain and ignored her talent. She walked over to him. She put her hand on his. She took out her purse and hospital ID card. License plate number, and for the pocket of his clean white lab coat. Dr. Prescott, she said in a cold and commanding voice. That guy on the first floor is attracting attention. Pneumothorax. Now finish with a needle. Or you can explain it to the senator. Why did your father die? And about his expulsion, she smiled a cold, sharp smile. Thank you, she turned to Captain Thorne. Let go. The interior of an MH-60M Blackhawk, noise, vibration, sensory assault, and the strong smell of JP-8 jet fuel. Fuel, a scent that lasts as long as time for Clara's car. At that moment the side doors closed, and the bird landed on the ground. Sharp left and exit Seattle. The city skyline behind the hospital stands tall. He said, Dr. Prescott, uneducated apprentices, clean gray floors. They away forever. Captain Thor surrendered. Clara put on headphones. Her ears, active noise cancellation, the immediate hidden scream. The rotors hummed with a dull sound. Then he pointed to the tide-running bag. To the floor tape near her feet. Bring your old baggage, said Thorne, his voice booms over the intercom. Standard edition flight suit, boots and level 2 trauma kit. Ricks had it. She said she would come back one day. Clara. He looked at the bag, and it was swollen. Kilo. Commander Rick, the current person. She bloomed on the mountain, her hair hanging upwards. She left the tools for 7 years. She left her seat. Seat belt, violating safety protocol. He ignored Thor and started to leave. From her blue hospital gown. She is concerned about humility. She is the ship's hull is full of sailors, and for them it was just another important part. Devices such as guns or radios. She was wearing her flight suit. She's become a little looser. She's lost muscle mass. But since he was fired, he has been well known. The weight of the material felt like armor. She took off her tactical boots and pulled them down. When you put your left hand on top, a scar from her ankle. The pain. A sharp, brutal reminder of why she did it. She left the service, but she pushed him away. The box of the mind and its lid are closed. Sitrep, Clara, the captain said, tying him up tightly. Comms on the walls of the Louis thing. Her voice changed. A rough voice. Nurse Holloway's tone of apology lost, replaced by a cut. The dictatorship of the Lieutenant Commander Holloway. Thorne shook his head. I appreciate the change. He said. He took a tablet out of his jacket and handed it to him. Exercises in the north. It fell into the caste system. Thorne expressed his sadness. Unity, the first high-altitude reconnaissance mission, survival and elimination. But something went wrong. Wrong. We lost contact with them for 4 hours. Before. When we finally get back there, the contact, the radio operator, was in a state of shock. They set him on fire. Clara lifted her head from behind. Map on tablet. Start a fire. Cascades. It's a training operation. Go back, Thor said sadly. They stumbled away. In things they shouldn't do. Look. Illegal drug dealers are increasing. Maybe. Worse, we didn't keep our eyes open. But the enemies are tough. Armed. They fired the explosives. Bird and fisherman. He fell into trouble. Goat Gorge, also known as Devil's Gorge. The terrain is too steep for land. We must be vigilant and keep you away. Clara studied the map. The contour lines were stacked. Each other. It was a straight nightmare. Accidents. 7 have been confirmed on the field. 3 criticism. Commander Rix fired a shot. Pieces of meat and cheese in the stomach, a blow to the neck. Corman is dead. RX is the highest ranking officer in land, but no capacity. The person who is now leading a copper named Sterling. Thorne. Not allowed. Sterling is the son of General Sterling. The child is green. He is in shock and he cries out to the Angel 6 because he was his father. He told stories about you. Clara. He closed his eyes for a second. The General's son. This explains all 4. Helicopters. Politics is always deep-rooted. War. But Rick's family was family. How long does it take to get to the site? Minutes. The pilot's voice intervened. The weather is getting worse. A snowstorm is moving in from the north ahead. Visibility drops to 0. If we were, don't let yourself fall in the next 10 minutes. We have completed the mission. Clara looked at him. Through a small window where the back door is open. Seattle's suburbs are a lush green space faced with a snow-covered rock cascade mountain's teeth. Gray, the clouds swirled around the mountain. She felt like sharks were surrounding her prey. The old fear that grips his stomach. The last time he was in a helicopter she did not walk on enemy territory. She rolled over. Let's go back to the past of Kandahar in 2018. The night was hot and smelled of sulfur. And rotten. RPG came out. Nowhere, and hit the tail rotor. The rotation was disgusting. The impact her world and her feet were destroyed. Remember that they are hanging upside down, blood rushed to her head, and she stared. Rick pulled the pilot out of the fire. Ruins. He returned to that. He traveled 3 miles in a broken-down car. He's back. He saved her life. Lady. Thor's voice drew him closer. She said. Clara looked at her. Her hands were shaking a little. They clapped their fists. I'm fine. She lied. She put her hand in the suitcase. Take out the bag and take a small bag. It was in her personal medical bag, entrance blade, battle guests, chest stamps and high doses of morphine. She rolled up the sleeves of her flight suit. To see her watch and get her tattoo on the inside of her arm. It was now blurry, but the color was still legible, some of it wings revolving around the number 6, in the Latin phrase, no, Tim, do not beat labor pains. He saw Thor. He touched his chest. The boy's on the ground, thinking you are a legend. You know the angel of the angel. Kandahar. Rick's kept your legend alive. Legends never stop growing, Captain. Clara grumbled as she checked the seal. 1 bag of saline solution. This is enough for this clamp. 2 He spoke minutes, the pilot shouted. Small arms target. I repeat, I am shooting. The helicopter crashed in serious condition. That's right. It's like a bullet hitting a sheet of snow. The roof exploded near the bullets that hit his body, armor-piercing. Lock and load. Thor shouted and pulled the trigger. The handle of the carbine. The other Marines immediately entered the cockpit. From passenger to passenger killer hunters. Clara has it. The band above the head. The vibration has changed. The helicopter slowed down. Hover. Door space on the right. He opened fire with a minigun. It is deafening, the additives in the Clara cocktail were done with LZ, said the team members. The chief shouted and opened the side door. Open. Snow and ice were blowing. In the cabinet, and it's bad. It was hot outside. Clara looked down. She saw in the blowing snow wild fish remains, twisted metal smoking skeleton in the throat. It flew back and forth between Trin and the accident scene. It's very hot. The pilot shouted for landing. Quickly, cable car. You are the one who will rise. If we stay here, it is us. She is dead. Clara has released her security. Her belt. She grabbed her medical bag. Stumbled to the edge of the open door. He looked down. He fell from a height of 60 meters to a war zone. Her sore leg hurt. Waiting. He caught Thor. Shoulder strap. So are you sure? Angel. Clara looked confused. Down. She saw a man waving a flashlight. Easy. Rick. She took off her safety glasses. She covered her eyes. Send me the rope. Her gloves were burned. A fight broke out. The warmth that fought the biting cold the mountain air. Clara quickly descended, very quickly. It was a tactical descent. Designed for young men in good health. Knees, not 40-year-old women. Titanium pins holding their tibias together. But adrenaline is powerful. Anesthesia. Clara ran, focused on the ground. To find him. 30 meters 2010 Abarak. Her feet struggle on her good soil. Side, but uneven terrain. Cloth had other plans. She reached a point. From loose clay and destroyed the evil legs, bending under weight. Traumatic situation bag. Hot ray of pain. He lifted his back and left it blind for a while. Second. She inhaled sharply and bit her lip as if she felt the strong taste of copper. Move. You have to move. The bullets fell from the rocks just a few inches from her head. The sniper in the tree saw insert. The voice stopped the fire. He shouted from the rubble. 3. Marines emerged from the scene of the accident behind the twisted body fisherman and the lead wall left to the trees. Clara bought it. It took her 3 seconds. She ran. On hands and knees, pulling heavy weights, the medical bag in the mud and snow, I jumped behind the cover of the Osprey. Landing gear. It was immediately surrounded by a burning smell, hydraulic fluid and metal washer's blood. You did it. Young Marine, his face painted with camera paint and garbage, dragging his jacket, he got deeper into the cover. He doesn't look like he's 20 yet. His eyes were straining, his pupils dilating. In fear. I'm Corporal Sterling. Dad. He said he would come. Clara grabbed his collar and pulled it. Close enough to hear above the noise warship above. Where is Commander Ricks? Take me to him now. He is in the carrot. He's bad, brother. He's really bad. Sterling got more involved in the attack. Airplane. It was a nightmare inside. There were red emergency lights. Flashing, flickering stroboscopic shadows. About the massacre. There were 4 Marines. Gathered in defensive positions, closed body openings. In the middle, he was lying on a warm blanket, Commander David Ricks. Clara was shot. Kneeling beside him. He looked old. More than he remembered. His hair was silver. Now, and his face was gray, and his complexion it was wet. It was a temporary bandage. Wet and pressed against the neck, bright red blood vessels. A bandage was wrapped around his stomach. Dave, Clara whispered, her hands already clenched. Move, put on blue nitrile gloves. Rick's eyes opened quickly. Blurry, unfocused. He tried to close his eyes. It removes the cloud of fear. When he sees it, a weak, crooked smile touched his lips. Clara, he scratched, his blood boiling with foam. A little bit at the corner of his mouth. You ignored my order to stay straight. I'm retired. I've never been good at following orders, she said in a calm voice. Despite the chaos. A necklace. It was dangling. Separated, missing the broken door millimeters, but it cuts the neck. He was bleeding rapidly, but he controllable. Stomach ulcer, however, he was the real killer. Sterling has put pressure on here. Clara. Looking at the young corporal, simply put your hand on the wound on your neck. Don't give up. If blood is shed, it's your fault. She cut. He opens Rick's shirt. A bullet has entered. Wound below the ribs. No way out. Wound. This means it was a bullet. Ron Bon's been verschippernd organe. His stomach was swollen from the inside. Bleeding. The pressure is 70/40. A nearby Marine with a broken arm said, a portable monitor reads, it's him. Mom, I'm falling. I need fluids. Clara, start line, 18 gauge, width, suddenly, the body of an eagle shark, it rang like a bell. Clang. RPG has a nose. The plane is only 10 meters away. Dust and debris fell on them. They are. We're going with you, Sterling shouted, taking it. He lifted his hand from Rick's neck to hold his own. Gun. They're coming down the hill. Put your hand on the cursed wound. Sterling, Clara shouted and pushed him away. Be the sons of the intelligence force, to withstand the shot. Your task. Sandbag. Don't move. RX is locked. Clara's wrist. The handle. Surprisingly strong for a dying man. Clara, she sighed. Listen to me. Laptop in the cabin. You need it. Turn it off. Not now, Dave. Inject morphine into the intravenous line. No. He tried to sit up, groaning in pain. These are not drug dealers. They are mercenaries. Black Ops, they want the disc. There. Coordinates for prototypes. Clara froze for a moment. Practical case history. If they were to hold it separately, it would be a waste. They are cruel. They kill everyone. Cover him up. You have to save the child. Sterling. Take it out. Leave it. I'm not here. I'm leaving you, Clara said in her voice. Wild. She leaned close to his ear. He left the relationship with Adrian. Prescott, stay here. I won't come back. Empty hand. Dave, you will live. Even if it's me. You have to hold yourself together. He's coming, someone shouted. World explosion. Mortar shell. He sat outside the open lid. The shock wave was caught by Clara and she threw it at her head. She collided with the metal and her eye. She blacked out for a second. She looked at herself. She shook her head, struggling with the whispers in her ears. She lifted her head. Sterling entered. On the ground, stunned. Rick stood there, stunned. Brerich at the end, engraved with a picture. There were snow and sparkles in the valley. 3 digits. They were not wearing embroidered clothes. Drug dealers have shown good behavior. High-end tactical night vision devices, safety glasses and clothing, vector print SMGs, Mercury, experts. One of them, he raised the gun and pointed it directly at him. The son of a general whose consciousness is unknown. Clara didn't think. She didn't think. Analytics. The muscle memory of 1,000 doctors. I'll kick her. She's not holding a weapon. Her doctors. The situation theoretically protected him, but these people didn't care about Geneva Convention. She grabbed the only thing she had in her hand, emergency survival service firefighter. The collection was fixed to the wall. She picked it up. And he pulled the trigger. The torch crashed into the front yard of the mercenary court. In the armor. I will not enter, but phosphorus in white, reminiscent of strength, burning 3,000 degrees. The man screamed and dropped the gun. And when it is full of fire, it strikes. Vest. The other 2 mercenaries. They were isolated, blinded by the unexpected. Magnesium light in their night vision safety glasses. Open the door, Clara, he shouted. Captain Thorne was about the roof covering that is lowered on a rope like a god of vengeance. He was in it. Second mercenary, the combat knife. The lights came on. The rescue team arrived, but RX is down. I need light. Someone give me a light. Clara, he shouted. The shot moved outwards. Part of the ship. Explore Thor and his forces. The group pushed back the mercenaries. On the hill, by her a bubble bath. Security. But in the ruins, the war, it was biological. RX is difficult to deal with. Sterling began to squeeze and shouted. Finally, he found the courage. He began. RX pumped chest. Very fast, slow. Clara helped him stand. He let go of his chest. She went out. She ran to get her bag. He had to have a thoracotomy. It opens. To compress the blood vessel, the chest and prolonged stomach bleeding. He took him to the hospital. But to do this the frozen and dirty remains of the helicopter were anger. It was suicide. If you don't tell him, he's dead, her inner voice said. Bring me the skull, a voice whispered. Clara ordered the Marines to take over. Broken arm. And betadine, throw it away. She spent the rest of the time everywhere. Rick's shirt was unbuttoned. What are you doing? Sterling asked, struggling to breathe from his resurrection. I'll close the aorta of the heart, said Clara. He said softly, stop the squeeze. I know. That's why I open wide, cut. Long, straight cut down. The blood was in the middle. The pressure was 0. She used a rib cage. Heavy rescue kit distribution for the chest is cracking. The sound of bones. The heavy blow troubled Sterling, but he held the torch silently. Clara, it penetrated the man's chest. She loved him like a brother for 20 years. Years. Her hands were warm inside. Body, a perfect contrast to the cold the wind howls outside the house. A vein that runs down. She is also pressing her fingers, come back. EP 1 milligram, she shouted. The sailor with the broken arm is broken. He threw the needle into the 4. Clara held her heart in her hand. Once, twice, 3 times. I felt like a person. A dead bird in her hand, still weak. Come. Come on, Dave, she whispered. Don't die. I am not here. I am not in the snow. She is. Reloaded. Blurry. Slight vibration. On her palm. I found a shot. She, come on, now, fool. Fool. Heart. He began to beat himself, struggling, unofficial, but it works. The aorta, it carries everything. The blood remaining in the brain and heart, temporarily sacrificing the lower body. Pulse is back, the Marine shouted. Weak, but vulnerable. We must move. That, Clara said, pulling him back. Hold your hand, but keep the lock in place. With surgical forceps. Now, if we wait, he'll die of hypothermia. She put her headphones in. Thor's condition. The enemies are retreating, but they regroup for a strong push. Thorn, his voice was breathless. We had 3 minutes. 50 calories before they bring it in. Is it a window? Is the package ready to move? Is the package ready? Clara replied, critical but consistent. Now we need an elevator removal. The weather is 0, Angel, the pilot is aborted. I can't see the deck. Follow me. No, Clara shouted. I jumped up. Green smoke. She took a cigarette can and threw it back open. Thick green smoke came out. Carried away by the wind for a while, but visible enough. Black sound, the hawk soared. The air current was almost completely below. They threw the basket. Bring him, Clara ordered. They put Rick into rescue services. The basket. The basket was a slow and hopeless basket. They fought. Clara had to run. As they pulled and sifted through the basket, they examined it. A container that comes out of the chest. The basket rises from the ground, the bullet rolled off the metal lid. Go, go, go. Thor shouted, stretching. To put out the fire with a saw. Clara tied her carabiner to it. Lift on the basket. She won't come by car alone. I had to watch Rick every second. To ascend. To rise from the ground, swaying in the wind. Clara, her legs are wrapped around the basket, Rick's exposed chest is protected by her chest. Body. Beneath them, there was a place of light. The appearance of the trails. Darkness above them. The helicopter's belly promises safety, but when they reached the middle destination the crane stopped at a height of 15 meters. Hanging in the void, standing motionless. The crew chief shouted, "Get caught. Secondary hydraulic failure free. I can't pick it up. Clara." The mercenaries were leaving. From the trees. They looked up. They were hanging. Hand wheels. The pilot shouted. "Who is the guide?" "Crutch. It takes 4 minutes. The main," he shouted again. "We don't have 5 minutes." Thor's voice broke from the ground. "They are preparing a rocket launcher. Bomb. You are the target. Clara." He looked at Rick. His eyes opened wide. "Again. Look at her. Wait. Come," he whispered. "Save yourself," he said. Clara looked at the rope. On the open door of the helicopter above the place where the team leader was terrified she turned a lever. She looked down. Men who drive RPGs. She caught it. She took off her jacket and took off her dirty weapon. The standard issue M9 was a Beretta. She is given to the bird. She does not give. She cut the line. She sought the darkness. RPG game form with 50 shot in the snow. She put her foot down. She took a deep breath, taking her time. Cable swing. Yes, Tim. She shot. The Beretta recoils. He kicked Clara's paw. A shocking shot in the icy air. 15 meters under mercenary, which refers to RPG. He fell into the snow. Unaccompanied. A rocket that shoots into the air without damaging it and it explodes on the cliff wall. When useless sparks rain down. Of course. We're fine. Clara shouted. Her headphones, even though the wind was blowing hard, the words disappeared. The hand crank groaned. A terrifying sound of metal on metal shaking under the iron wire and on her feet. In painful inches, the basket was lifted. Clara was holding her legs. Wrapped tightly around the frame, a body that serves as a human shield the biting wind and every lost turn from the ground. But her eyes never leave Commander RX's chest. The aortic clamp slipped. The shock was ignited. Surgical adhesive released the device. If it jumps, RX in a few seconds, his heart will burst, putting the rest of his life inside the burst chest cavity. Calm down. Clara shouted to the group. Her head as she cleans the floor. Blackhawk. Don't shake it. Strong. His hands gripped his tactical jacket. Captain Thorne and the team leader were eliminated. With a push-button basket in the cabin he almost dislocated his shoulder. They moved the basket to the diamond. A carpet floor, which he immediately fixes. Pilot, get us out of here. Thorne. Cry. Sleep of the earth. Lie down. The Black Hawk turned and swooped in with force. On the line of the hill to escape death location. G-force has pushed Clara. But she didn't leave it on the floor. Clamp. I need a light, she screams. It's him. Shaking again. The hut is washed. In the red light of tactical lights. It was a very scary operating room. Helicopter pilot hours, pressure. It was stressful, and the patient technically dead. He survives. A piece of metal that cuts a large blood vessel. The general's son, Copper Sterling, he was crouching in the corner and watching intently. Clara has big, scary eyes. I saw a middle-aged nurse now. Perform by gently pushing the rope. Open heart surgery due to accident and gunshot wound. A man from a hanging rope. Is that him? Is that him? Will it work? "Sterling, take this fourth bag," said Clara. He ignored the question and ordered. "Press. Every time I bow my head, you busy. Do you understand?" "Yes, Mrs. Clara." He looked at the monitor. Rick's vital signs. It was unstable. It had to be stable. Chest compressions and compressions. "Thor, let me meet him." "Admission hospital." Clara said, she hands deep in the chest cavity, fix the packing net. "It's not us. It goes to the base." "It won't. To go to Madigan." "Seattle." "General negative," Angel said, listening to Thor. In the headphones. "The command says, the package is very sensitive. The laptop, data, we cannot store it in the civilian sector." Clara raised her head, her face smeared with grease and blood. His eyes were very angry. "I don't care. The laptop, Captain. I'm interested. The man who saved my life in Kandahar. He has a blocked aorta and high blood pressure pneumothorax. Seattle General is 6 minutes away. Madigan is 20 years old. When we flew to the camp you will come down with my body. Do you want to explain to General Sterling? Why did the child savior die?" Protocol. Thor hesitated. He looked into Rick's eyes. Then at Clara. He saw the fire in her eyes, the same fire that conquered her Navy Cross. He turned on the radio. "Command, this is Duggar 11. A medical emergency has been declared. For Seattle General. Pilot, shooting." "Flip it over," the pilot replied, and the engines were roaring as he spoke. "Stop your speed quickly." Clara focused. "Go back to the wound. Stay with me, Dave. We are almost home." The flight was difficult. Warning bells and desperate measures. Twice. RX pressure has reached its lowest level. Twice. Clara had to be massaged by hand. Her heart beats in rhythm, her hand life in the veins of the Marines he watched in respectful silence. The Seattle skyline appeared, the hospital helipad has already been expanded. Facilitation. But as they approached, Clara saw this as something that makes the blood boil. The helicopter landing pad was empty without any medical personnel. Security guards closed the doors. "They're not ready for us," Clara said. Prescott realized this. "He what?" Thorne shouted. "Dr. Prescott, he is the main actor of the damage. You might think it's a scam." Thorne. He raised the slide of the gun. "Let's say. Pilot. If anyone comes in front of him, I'll take them." Black Hawk lit up. Laundry is leaking rapidly on the hospital roof. The wreckage. The wheels were hit. Painted. Before the rotors even slowly, Thor kicked in the door. It is thrown from the weapon it is holding, but ready to disperse to ensure the team environment. Hospital safety. The guards who were ordered to refuse the approach has given a hint of energy exploration. The Marines also retreated. She raised her hands. Clara was released. He grabbed the side of the bed. "Leave him." Activity. According to my count. 1, 2, 3. They were running. Rick got out of the helicopter. The wind was howling. Crying, Clara's hair sliding down her face. She traveled with a severe disability, the worst of it. Her legs screamed in protest, but she didn't. Slowly. She ran on the carriage, her hand still holds the container inside. RX chest. Blow up the roof. Entrance doors and in a state of disrepair elevator. Trauma Bay 1, Clara command. And someone tell me Paige Prescott, if it's him. Not in 30 seconds, the operation itself. Elevator doors. It opened on the emergency floor, revealing something. A completely confused scene. The workers he heard the helicopter, but no one knew. What's going on? Clara. Holloway exploded with 4 assists. Heavy warships and pressure vessels. Gurney found a man who looked like a bear. It literally exploded, the whole floor. Snow. Dr. Adrian Prescott participated in this. The nurse's station has coffee. He turned around, laughing at a resident. The smile on his face disappeared. He saw Clara, but he wasn't Clara. She knew. She was wearing a flight suit. She is covered in mud and blood. Her hair is wild. She moved with a violent movement. Strength, slowness. Now at the door it looks like a wounded man walking. Instead of being a burden, save me. Get away from me. Clara shouted. Her voice, echoing through the hallway. Hello. Prescott tried and fell to the ground. The coffee cup broke and spilled. Hot liquid on his new white shoes. What does this mean? Thank you. It's not enough to just be patient. Man 52 gunshot wounds to the stomach, neck injury, emergency thoracotomy was performed by field. Clara was shaken by the report. With the precision of a machine gun when rotating more than that. The aorta is blocked. I need it. Ready now. Touch and cross for 10. Unit of units. Take the blood group. She didn't stop to ask permission. She didn't look down. She saw. Go straight to the painful spot. 1 hip. Prescott ran after them, his face red. Angrily. Security, stop. She works without treatment. His permission. She is a nurse. He gave it to him. To hold Clara's arm while Riku has been moved to a hospital bed. Before the fingers are scratched, Captain Thor intervened as he put on his flight suit. The giant sailor did not shout. He placed a glove cover on Prescott's chest. And pushed him against the wall. A sound that can drown out the wind. Touch it again, said Thorne. The sound is descending into a low growl. You need a trauma surgeon. This my hospital. Prescott trembled. She trembled too. That's the commander at that table, Thor replied. She is the only one. The reason he still breathes. You breathe. Take orders from her or you will be stopped. Prescott looked around. The entire emergency room. Staff, Sarah Davis, nurses, the customers looked at the system. She looked at Prescott with the usual fear. Or appreciation. Clara. They looked at the woman. He ignored it for years. Command a unit full of special forces. Soldiers. Dr. Prescott, said Clara. He didn't look up when he connected Rick's phone. To the hospital supervisors. I need it. A vascular surgeon performs vascular surgery to repair a blood vessel. Are you going to paint it or do I need to? Calling someone competent. This is an insult. Hanging in the air, sharp and fierce. Prescott swallowed his pride. He saw. He saw the open box. He saw the lock. I understood with a sinking feeling. The skill levels required to do it, a process carried out in a hovering helicopter. They looked at Clara's hands. Steady as a rock. I'll go in carefully, Prescott muttered. Okay, Clara said. But in this, I am the leader. I will repair the blood vessels. I will treat the patient. This is very unusual. Do it. The next 4 hours were filled with chaos. Clara, she didn't leave O. She joined O, head of anesthesia monitoring table, orders and administers blood products when Prescott makes a mistake, his hands that's indifferent. For the first time in it. Adrian Prescott during his career assistant. When was the last stitch? RX was discharged from the hospital and transferred to the intensive care unit. Clara finally retreated into the barn. She took off her bloody gloves. The adrenaline was pumping. Her legs were shaking. She was stumbling, but she wasn't. Floor. Captain Thor caught him. "You angel," he said in a soft voice. They traveled. "It's from O and it's waiting." The room. The room was full, it wasn't with him. Patience, but consistency. General Sterling, the boy's father. Clara escaped, it was there. The scary man with 4 stars on his head shoulder, known for eating seeds in the morning, the hospital was standing next to him. The director and the remaining members of the board of directors. When Clara leaned against Thor, the room is quiet. General Sterling. He went to her. He looked at his son, Corporal Sterling. "What's so strange?" A nearby wheelchair with a blanket around it. The son, shedding tears, gave his father a sign. In his eyes. The general looked Clara. He didn't offer to shake hands. He greeted him. It was a slow, deliberate greeting. Salute. Behind him, 20 other Marines. It attracted attention in the room. Lieutenant Commander Holloway. The general said in a loud voice, feeling. "My son tells me that you are in. It's very hard to find them." "Just do the job," Clara said in her own voice. "No," the general said, "you've done more than that. Work. You saved the lives of 7 people. The Marines received that information. It will save thousands more. You did it too." Saying this, he gave his hand in disdain. Hospital administrators. When this institution treats you like it is servant. He returned to the hospital. Director, sweaty person package. Did you know you have a Navy Cross? Is the receiver cleaning your floors? He muttered to the director. Our personnel files. It's mysterious. She's a hero. The general shouted. From this moment on, she's moving again. The Navy loves her. Go back. The Corps wants it back. It wants it. I won't empty the bathtub for you. No more. He returned from Clara. If Clara, I love your stance. Joint Special Forces Chief Instructor Medical Training Operations Center yours. Colonel rank. Clara to General. Then she looked around the corner. The room. Dr. Prescott standing. There. He seemed small, defeated. He saw the whole scene. He realized that it was the woman he had harassed. The woman who called him slow was a giant. She didn't know. Clara left. She left Thor's arm and walked away. She stood alone. 2 legs, trembling with pain, but she stopped. She looked at Prescott. She didn't scream. She didn't scream. He just gave him a small, sympathetic smile. General, I think I'll accept this offer. Clara said. But first I have a loose point to tie. She walked straight away. The old safe is located in the nurse's station. The key was still in her pocket. She took it out. He took it out and placed it on the table. Sarah, the young nurse, it was good for him, he cried tears of joy. Goodbye, Sarah, Clara said in a soft voice. Don't let them push you away. He turned and walked towards the exit, together with the general and the Captain Thorne. The automatic doors opened, let the fresh night air in. The sound the Blackhawk on the roof disappeared, but all that remained was silence. Noisier than any other engine. The calm nurse disappeared. Angel 6 returned, and when she left first time at 7 p.m. as the years passed, she didn't feel the pain herself. Her legs. She only felt the wind beneath her wings. The legend of Angel 6 does not end here. Night. That was just the beginning. A new chapter. Commander Rix fully recovered, finally, retreat to a nearby hut. The training center where Clara taught the next generation of combat doctors. Dr. Prescott resigned a month later. Defamation, failure to obey respect for someone who knows what he has. Demystified the legend. Clara Holloway. It proves that heroes don't always wear caps and don't always work. Sometimes they tremble. But when the call is made to them, it will come when the sky opens and the rotors are whirring, they are flying. She was never identified again due to her injuries. But she refused to give up for life. Finally, the wounds we carry not a sign of weakness, but evidence of that. We survive to fight for others. If this is the story of Clara's rescue and bravery has driven you, please keep this. Watch the video and subscribe to the channel. He will bring you the most powerful army. Dramas and stories inspired by real life every week. Don't forget to share. Share with your friends and comment Angel 6 below. If you want to see a sequel about it as per the teacher's time, click the bell icon so you don't miss out on the rescue mission.